Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock and time to call to order the Parking and Safety Committee meeting for February 20th. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Vice Chairman Hellinger?
Here.
Chairman Schaefer?
Here. Item number 2 is election of chair and vice chair for this year.
I would make a motion that Vice Mayor Schaefer is the chairperson of the Parking and Safety Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I guess I've got it again. Vice chair?
I make a motion that Mr. Hellinger is the vice chairman of the Parking and Safety Committee.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that is done. Item number 3, approval of the motion summary from the November 21st, 2016 meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes as provided.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It is approved. Item number 4, time for public comment on anything that is not on tonight's agenda. So are you here for something that's on the agenda tonight? Okay. So anybody, don't pay everybody else. So we'll skip that one. Item number
Sometimes there's
5.
nobody here, so.
We're just glad to have anybody out there. Item number 5 is a recommendation to repeal Resolution 12, which is the removal of the handicap parking signage at 216 North Union Street.
Yes, Chairman Schaefer, members of Parking and Safety Committee. This picture right here is the actual handicap zone we created in 2012 for the resident at, I think it's 216 North Union Street. Dale Philby from Utilities recently had a request from the resident there that that person no longer resides at the house. We did send a notice to the house and didn't hear anything. We're assuming they're the ones who asked Dale, but at any rate, the utility billing no longer goes to the person who was issued for, so we would respectfully request that we send forward a ordinance council to remove that space in front of the house.
I remember doing that. They don't live there anymore, no?
No.
And as I read the background on this, for anything that we do at this point in time, there's an automatic rescission, is there now?
There should have been, but I did this one, and I didn't know that at the time. So it wasn't on this ordinance, but normally it is.
Okay.
Any motions?
So is this recommendation, this doesn't have to go to council, that is. This is just,
I think it has to go to
It does have to
council.
go
this
to
is our
council.
recommendation to go to council.
Yes.
Yeah.
I move for approval of resolution 1242, a recommendation for the removal of the handicap sign at 216 North Union Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll submit to council. I think this is probably why you guys are here. Item 6, which is discussion and consideration of traffic calming and signage on 265 Lexington Boulevard at Bueller Drive.
I'll give a little bit of history on this topic first. We had a request from Christina Chambers of 265 Lexington Boulevard. She had mentioned in her email to us about speed along this section along with many accidents. So we have researched the area and we've included an exhibit in the packet, and we've kind of noted with asterisks where the accidents have occurred. So there have been 5 along that curve, right where Bueller Drive turns, and it turns into Lexington. So with that, we've also did speed study out in this area, and the speed is 85th percentile is around 31 and 32 miles per hour, which is pretty high compared to what we typically have. So we recognize there is an issue there. We have put together some recommendations in exhibit. Obviously, this is kind of up for discussion. This is kind of one of these things that we had talked about doing in 2017 to try out some striping strategies, no parking signage, and try to get that to calm down traffic versus actually doing physical improvements out there, bump outs and so on and so forth. So we put together this exhibit. The no parking signs that's part of the exhibit, those are statutory. So those are by code already, so it's not extending zones anywhere. It's just based on the intersection itself. We've also added some cross hatching along the sides and some center line in those areas to kind of help narrow the area down to hopefully slow drivers down. We've also added, as part of that exhibit, curve warning signs also. And this could be another location where we can implement the speed radar feedback signs in the future, which we can kind of fill you in on that as part of our staff.
None of these are taken, but these are all
No,
recommendations.
these are all recommendations. So Yeah, so you can kind of see that up there. So it's all up for discussion right now. We wanted to put it out there. We did send letters and these exhibits to all the residents along Beeler Drive from, I think it's Morgan, is it Morgan? Yeah, all the way over to Cambridge. So that way they were all aware and could make comment on that, so.
Again, this is my ward, and I just live off of Cambridge, and I support this 100%. It is literally a racetrack around that bend. I drive it, how many times a week, and it's just a terror.
Yeah.
Our recommendations are based on a lot of study. This topic gets a lot of analysis and study in the engineering world. And what we've realized over the years is that obviously we've talked to you about stop signs, unwarranted stop signs, and how they can have unintended consequences and actually make the problem worse. But the guidance materials that we bought into and we've actually incorporated in our traffic calming manual, which will be coming out very soon to you. Before the next meeting, we'll have that in your hands. Talks about doing unusual things. Striping, not crazy unusual, but unusual things unique to the intersection to get people's attention, and it doesn't work for every driver. You're still going to have drivers that just flat out want to disobey the speed, but it does work surprisingly well. And there is a little bit of an eraser board with pavement markings versus doing curb bump outs, which once they're there, they're very expensive to construct and they're very expensive to take out if they don't work right. Columbus, we kind of sat back and watched their experiments and which ones have worked and which ones have not. And the bump outs are risky because of the investment and how, they don't work too well. With striping, we may go out and once we have a final plan, have buy-in from the neighborhood, we may go out and need to tweak it. So what we have in front of you tonight was just something to start with, to discuss. It doesn't have to look exactly like what we have drawn up, but we wanted to get some feedback.
So when you did the speed study, where was that at?
We had one of the stuff was put at 220 Lexington, and that came out, the 85th percentile was about 31 miles per hour.
Where's that, Bruce, are you able to, where that is on that, on the map where?
Where was it, Jess?
220.
Yeah, it's on.
So yeah, one was placed there. We also took data at 684 Bueller Drive also.
Okay.
So on both sides of the.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that we're just talking, are you just talking about all the signs on the curve right there? Because it's an issue of that whole, from that
The
bend
whole
all the way down to Bueller's. I mean, then it becomes a drag strip all the way straight down.
Right.
The next curve to the light.
Well, what we can do is continue to, what we're after right now is countermeasures for the accidents.
Okay, so that's where the accidents.
The
Yes,
accidents are at that
That's where I
intersection.
should go.
Now,
See that first house in the corner?
Yeah.
Where the white cars sit in the parking lot? They've had a number of cars come up around that bend.
I remember.
Their yard.
I remember.
and we've had our,
Last one blasted that white car and shot it up into the corner.
Yeah, I remember that.
and our street light pole has been hit multiple times. I know since I've been down at the Public Works facility over the past 3 or 4 years, it's been hit at least 2 times, so.
I do acknowledge that, your point. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, so when you do that speed study, is that, is it 24-hour?
Yes, it's over consecutive days, so
Okay, so
it takes an
so is it
average.
in, what's the busiest time for the speed, I guess? Is it?
This goes,
Window the speeders coming through.
yeah,
Yeah.
My guess is in the morning because it's a lot of kids trying to get to
let's see
school.
here, because this will give you a, the best time to enforce. Which,
It's not just the kids.
No, I know.
Yeah.
yeah, best times to enforce, because the data was collected Monday through Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m., and 7 to 8 a.m. were the hot times, so, yeah.
Typical. What you'd expect.
Yeah.
I do like the approach of trying something first that's not a huge investment that has a good possibility of making a difference monitoring that. We can always do more, but it makes sense if we just start off with less as opposed to
Right.
making a big project out of it. I know you ladies want to make some comments. If we could we ask you to come up front and give us your name and address and whatever you want on this?
I have to move up here.
Yeah,
Well, we need that because this is a public meeting and we have a public record, so we have to keep.
it won't record you otherwise.
Your chair.
I'm more comfortable.
They're very.
I'm Linda Wilkie. I live at 253 Lexington Boulevard, which is on the corner of Lexington and Thistle. I know I had my mailbox taken out multiple times. It's mainly because it happens when they're going this direction, west.
It's the curve though.
It's the, and usually, anytime I've had issues between the trees and
She lives on the right, I live on the left.
she lives there.
And she lives on the right. side.
You know, it's been snowing or it's been raining.
Yeah.
You know, people just don't slow down as, you know, they bury boys. I just had questions of, are you gonna make those solid yellow lines? I didn't understand why they were dotted yellow lines on the curves.
That's just across the intersection. Technically, you're not supposed to have a double yellow line across an intersection, so that's why it's dotted. So it still allows you to drive across it, but you'll see the solid where we don't have, where parking is restricted by code, so.
We can get creative with the lines, but we still have to stay within certain laws, because if we, if we do a double yellow, technically you're not allowed to drive across, and somebody may
I never thought of that.
latch onto that.
Across the
And
public.
then,
A public street, that is.
okay.
If it's a public street intersecting, if it's a private drive, then double yellow is fair game.
Okay.
So Matt, would we put the radar speed signs in now, or is that going to be like the next step?
Well, we've got about 5 candidate locations, so we'll have to prioritize where we put them first. I mean, this is a logical place to start, because we already have, I don't want to call it an experiment, but it's a pilot.
And we
program
have
here.
already collected data, because that's one of the things with the speed radar feedback signs we're putting together, that we collect data before, during, while they're out there, and then after we take them down also.
They're a hot item. A lot of
Oh, yeah.
homeowners associations are across the
Sure.
city are waiting for us to bring them. We have 1 pair right now, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea maybe to put the stealth stat out there after this is installed and see if the
Mhm.
pavement markings in and of themselves
themselves.
have any kind of beneficial
Right.
effect. And then try the same thing with the feedback signs.
Right.
Do one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
So
Are
you
the
can
radar
plug-
signs where the police department, where it says you are going this fast, it's a big white?
That's the
Yeah.
big
Because every
trail.
time
but
they
it's
come
not
out there,
trail.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it won't be the trailer. These are actual signs that are affixed to the post, and they'll sit
Good.
below the speed limit sign, so it'll really get
Trigger
people's
them down.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
Are those permanent or?
They-
No, we wish.
yeah.
If the
they'll be
price would come
temporary.
down, but as the batteries get more efficient, the prices will come down, just like all technology, phones and stuff. But right now, we just were able to afford 1 pair. It was
They were, I think 6,500 for a pair of
for a
them.
pair of
so,
signs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of pricey, but worth it.
Yeah.
Is there any way to make that no parking all the way on the one side?
On the
south
inside
side
of
of
the
the curve.
On the inside of the curve.
That's kind of feedback we're here tonight to try to get.
We're in support, but like we had a couple of questions about if, you know, on the north side where the curves are, where the corners are those gonna be no parking areas?
Those are technically, they're no parking as it is today. They're just not actually
Legally.
signed. Yeah, legally, it's no
So it's
parking.
more of an illusion to make sure they're thinking,
Yes.
wondering what's going on,
Yes.
slow
Yes.
down, something's
Now,
up.
the parking restrictions can be extended through the curve, but that would require a resolution.
The issue is that
Here.
when you're coming from the west towards the east and you're coming around that curve, that curve section right across from her house, those 3 houses, that blank space in the middle,
Mhm.
if people park there, you can't see anything coming the other way and they cross over. So it's like, we would almost like that whole curve, that whole thing to be solid.
That's our opinion.
We had
Yeah.
thoughts of that. We had thoughts of extending this further, this taper a little bit?
Not that way, connecting the middle.
Connecting the middle.
I'm all for the curve, but I would not support going farther down.
No.
Because
No,
there's no place to
they
park for that
can-
park.
And the
Okay.
soccer parents
Yes.
come, and I mean, it's a very busy place.
About where those white line, hash lines are, right, yeah, right there.
That's far enough that way.
Going all the way up to the other hash
Yeah,
lines.
right, yeah.
It's probably,
I would think that.
Yeah, it would help a lot to see around the curve.
Now, a question, and I know, living on Executive, similar thing, I live kind of on a curve there. My neighbor always parks his pickup truck on the inside of the curve, and he's found, in his case, that slows traffic down. If he doesn't have his truck on the inside of that curve, people whip through there. Because, now, obviously you can see through it, so it isn't like the work trailer that we had over on Firestone. But that seemed to, cause people so they couldn't like cut the inside of the curve. I
Right.
don't know if
On-street
that,
parking
yeah, I mean,
has a tendency to calm traffic.
yeah, so I guess, yeah, I'm all for trying
Sure.
everything, but I just wonder, is that actually going to be, I can see where narrowing maybe does some, but I just.
Actually, Miss Chambers, the one with the white truck there, she
Mhm.
had roommates that actually parked across from her house, which was on the apex of that curve,
Yeah,
and it got hit.
oh, really?
And we told her it was a bad winter. We're like, don't park your car there. We're
Yeah.
like, it's because, like I said, that whole apex is not, it's not conducive to a slow curve.
Right.
And then you drift out, even if you're going a slow, it pulls you towards her property. It really does.
It does,
Your speed
yeah.
pulls you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when she got hit the last time, there was leaves out. And we're like,
Oh.
we know
Yeah.
the speed and the pull and that on top shot them right into her yard, right up into the garage door.
Wow.
So yeah, it was quite an exciting weekend for her.
So Matt, what other
What
what other tools in your toolkit besides these that you're proposing for this installation are there for traffic calming
Well,
in general?
in other communities, speed tables, but
Yeah.
I respect our fire chief's position on the tables,
Mm-hmm.
but they are effective, not speed bumps, the
Right.
more gradual tables. Big belligerent red pavement markings that say slow down, I'm a fan of. I'm not getting buy-in from other staff, that's okay. Unique things like that.
Well, there's children. It's horrible to cross.
Right.
We're scared to death they're gonna get hit all the time. Say zip around there.
And if, as you'll see in our manual, if there's enough pedestrians to warrant in some locations, then you can go to RFPs or flashing, we don't fortunately have enough
Pedestrian
volume.
crossings,
flashing
like in-
I
crossings.
don't want.
like at Western,
Yeah, we-
Wesleyan.
We have to have
In
it
front of
pretty
my
high.
house.
Yeah.
Well, but they'd only be on demand, so
Right.
they don't always be flashed.
And those are
Well,
more,
I'm only one person, so I
We'll do
get
speed
that.
bumps over.
We've seen pavement markings that
Make a
appear
chicane or something.
or actually seem like the road is curving
curving.
Okay.
and just flat out get your attention.
Physical features such as bump outs, which are a lot more
Right.
costly.
Right.
I've seen RPMs, which help at night. Now, we don't really have, well,
What are they? You keep,
reflectors in the pavement
okay.
that show you, it's just that whole effect of, okay, there's something different here. It's the reflectors you put on the lane lines that you see at night to help guide you, and what their main purpose is for is to help you at night when there's precipitation on the road, rain and some snow. But help me out here. What other tools? Oh, peer pressure, neighborhood,
We've chased them
Talking
down
to-
the road yelling. When our kids were little, we were.
yeah, buy-in.
Is there an active
your
HOA in
neighbors.
that area?
I'm sorry.
Is there an active HOA in that area?
No, it's on the other side of the radar house that you did. It's from there on.
Starts right past
So,
there.
no HOA there.
If I've been at the park, we've had my kid yelling at cars,
Enforcement helps.
How long will this take to put your parking signage or what, these lines?
We'll need to bring back a resolution to this
Well,
Nope.
there technically wouldn't, for this right as it's shown today, wouldn't need a
Unless we
resolution.
fill, I think we should probably consider filling in the,
Yeah, if we do
Yeah.
fill in that area, that gap in between with no parking, it would have to come back. But it would be something that would be constructed this spring, summer, because it is with striping and stuff, and we have to have proper temperatures. And we would have a contractor that would be in to do this, because it's more of a long line, which we don't have the equipment in-house to do that, so.
So what are we talking about? Additional parking that would require legislation work?
The parking inside, and on the inside of the curve on the park side,
It
that
doesn't
section is
change
not
the
within an
way.
intersection area.
Just connecting it.
Or right there?
Connect the
Mhm.
whole,
But I think that would need to be, I mean, we would need to make sure all the property owners are aware of those changes, because that could affect, if people do like parking across their street, they may have objection.
And no
So
one parks there
Generally,
except for her.
we
and we
don't really have a lot
do-
of cars parking
No,
Yeah, there's not
on
usually a lot of
soccer
cars
unless
there.
they're there for the park,
soccer,
when soccer season.
Yeah.
It's usually farther down.
yeah,
Yeah, they do tend to park further
On the
down.
strip.
on the west side.
There aren't a lot of cars.
'Cause it's very hard to
Because it's
see.
too hard to see. I think
Mhm.
people have learned not to park out there.
Mhm.
So to do this, we don't really need to go before council.
No.
We could say, go ahead and try this, and then you monitor the speeds again
Mhm.
and then report back.
and I hope to see a few mile per hour, couple mile per hour reduction. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a whole lot when you're talking about averages or 85th percentile, that is.
But when you have an 85th percentile of 31 and 32 compared to what we typically have, that's pretty high. So
Well,
yeah, if we get a couple,
25 is 25, and the police, when they do sit back there, whew, they just, they get them left and right back there.
Does your report give you top speed, like who was going to the top speed?
No, you probably don't,
I do
you probably
want
don't want.
It was a blue car, it was.
Oh,
it does, but yeah, you don't want to
I do
know.
want
I don't, it's showing, I don't know, it peaks like around 60 some.
Yeah,
But-
it's amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's,
And then late at night, you just hear them,
Yeah,
you
you hear
just hear
people
them
racing.
going through.
yeah.
That happens every time you run that too.
Yeah, it
I
does.
just always curious.
It does. We've seen 90 on our data.
Oh my.
Sometimes it can be a bird,
True.
to be honest.
Like
Oh,
birds.
I don't think it was in this case.
Thunderbird.
Yes, Thunderbird.
I'm voting for Bird.
We're in support, it's, something's gotta be done there.
You know, there are people doing a lot more than that, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's 85% of the people are going
Yeah.
at that speed or faster.
Yeah.
So that's a high percentage.
That's,
So we're gonna do thermoplastic markings.
This would probably be paint
Paint,
because of
okay.
the age of the asphalt. I don't
That's-
think
okay.
thermal would adhere
I
very well
have
to it.
one concern about the
Mhm.
paint. We know when they refresh in the pedestrian walks,
Mhm.
it's slippery.
Okay.
Now, here's the point I want to clarify. When you do the north side of streets on the
Mhm.
curves,
Mm-hmm,
those are already illegal to park there,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
By law, you're not allowed to park on those, a certain
Yeah, certain
Mark
distance
from
from the
the
intersection. yeah.
intersection. So what I'm concerned about, especially this first one down on the right, on the bottom right,
Mhm.
that is the apex that pulls your car. And I'm afraid that if it's rainy and the paint is slippery, that's going to make that corner even worse and end up in her yard, more so.
Now, I know that the paint that they do apply, it does have, they have traffic beads, what they put on, which
Or
helps.
sand grit or
Yes.
something still.
Yes.
So it's not the plastic, it's not the thermal.
It's not the thermoplastic, but
That makes me nervous, more nervous than not having it.
now that's something, I mean, we could always look into, how they groove pavement on the side of the road, on
Yeah,
like
like
highways when
bump and
you're off
strips.
the,
Oh, yeah.
you can always do that. That might help with skid resistance, something we can.
That sure catch their attention.
Yeah.
But that might cause noise
Rumble
though
strips
too,
is another
along your
tool.
house.
Part of it is the
So-
drainage
Yeah.
ditches
Yeah.
around the curve,
But-
and so it gathers.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
true.
not
Yeah.
puddled there and everything.
That's-
Yeah.
Coming into town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
Now, those are physical signs, right, that you're gonna put
Yes,
in?
those are physical, yep.
Ma'am.
Is that
I'm
exactly
ready.
where they're
The
going?
clerk needs your name and address. She's
I'm sorry.
she's squirming over
I may
there.
know you, but.
Oh, Jody L.K. Brakey. No. Jody Brakey.
And then Jerry, can you just give us your address?
241 Lexington Boulevard. Thank you. You're welcome. It's your turn.
What's your thoughts on the big obnoxious pavement marking?
The slow down?
But that
Yeah.
might be even
Not me at all.
I know it costs money.
if you're concerned with slipping the
slip,
bed,
yeah.
that would be.
Right.
It depends
I mean, that's
where,
like a whole
just
school
not,
zone, you know how like school markings are.
Just in front of our homes.
well, just not on that curve right there. That is just, it pulls you.
Put it farther back on the approaches.
Yeah, well, plus it's a park right there. It's a
The
amazing
downsides
young
are,
children's park.
if you put in red, which studies show red works really well, red becomes pink pretty quick
Oh.
with sunlight. So
Yeah.
pink's not bad, but it doesn't,
We can try this first, you know.
It seems to
You
me
might
like we
ask
could
that.
always do more,
Mhm,
you
right.
know, but this,
Absolutely.
We're gonna start.
Start out.
Yeah.
yeah, this seems like a start,
This is a pilot.
see how it goes.
And I think baby steps are the best because then we're gonna see what works and what doesn't work.
Mhm.
So,
Yes,
Yeah, you don't want to throw everything out at once.
Yep.
yes. You can't troubleshoot that.
But you might talk some more about some kind of grooving on that one spot, because it just pulls you right through. You want to ask about the signs.
Yeah, I did the physical sign.
You want
Yeah.
to ask whether,
Are you placing them or you have them on the map?
The signs
Yes.
in a very approximate location because it's based on the distance from the intersection. So where the
You're like
curve.
on top of my mailbox at the moment, which is fine.
It,
But I
we,
wouldn't be able to.
yeah, no, no.
I know I'm asking a lot as a resident.
we can make sure that they're
I know
places.
it's important, but
Yeah. We'll be as close as we can to the dimensions, but we'll make sure to not affect next to mailbox. If we have a very close by light pole, we can always stick on that too, so.
You have to do without a mailbox, I guess. So,
many people
They're
would
gonna take it out.
Just leave your mower outside, we'll put the mower there.
put the sign right there.
Yeah, it's like, let me get rid of them.
Take your mower home.
So what do you need from us then?
Well,
A recommendation of,
yeah, we will have to have, if we want to close the gap on the inside of the curve, we do have to bring it back so it's on the agenda. There's actually a hearing. People have an opportunity to see it on the agenda if they object, unless you wanted, we could just bring.
No,
Bring it to the
I think
floor.
we'd have to notify the property owners
Right.
again.
before we even do this, or?
No, I wouldn't say, if we did what was on this
yeah,
today.
let's do this.
I was gonna say-
And then we can close the gap later.
If you want to close the gap and authorize it now, then we just maybe bring it not at the 27th meeting, but we could just, there's maybe a handful of houses, we just let them know it's going to be on council that night, if you want to do
Yeah.
We could do that. We could send letters out to them, and then if there's anybody opposed or anybody that wants to make comment, they could come in.
I just think the sooner we can do something, the better, because
Right.
it sounds like a really problematic
Right,
yeah.
situation.
And that's why we wanted to get out ahead of the manual. I mean, ideally, we'd like to have gotten the manual in your hands, a traffic calming manual. But we had a couple reasons to pause. One of them was we're actually hiring one of our new engineers as an expert in traffic calming.
Nice.
So is Jessica, but we're gonna have two experts. So
Bring some good.
it's a hot topic. It really is,
Yeah.
and especially here in Delaware.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Now, we are kind of restricted though on when we can get the striping done because we've got to wait till the spring into the summer and it'll be when our long line contractor comes in, when they're doing everything else in town. So I'm guessing probably, I mean, we always try to get stuff done probably before Ironman. So I would say June, July-ish, possibly.
So the signs would go up earlier than that, but the striping wouldn't happen.
We may be able to do the edge line and the cross hatching in-house, which we could get it done here first thing in the spring. The center line is what I would prefer that a contractor does.
Sure.
So.
Is there any possibility or potential advantage to, in addition to those curve ahead signs, by showing a decrease of 5 miles an hour on that speed or something, make that a 20-mile-an-hour curve? Can use
You
that?
could, yes.
Just to try and add additional emphasis that,
Yeah,
kick that around, yeah.
yeah. Typically, we'll do ball bank indicator testing, which
Okay.
kind of shows you what the recommended speed is around those curves. We
Yeah.
don't have that technology in-house, but the Delaware County does.
We could
But
borrow.
I don't think it would be an issue posting it at 20.
yeah.
I mean, it's just a warning device. It's not a regulatory device by any
Yeah,
means.
it's a cautionary
Yeah,
sign, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be an issue at all.
The testing device is, you basically put it on your dashboard.
It's like a turn and bank indicator,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
On an airplane. Yeah.
so that's just those, so when they yell and have the speed, that's just a That's on Forest
No,
Field.
that
Are you
is-
serious? Boy, where were you at about 3 months ago? My wife and I got in a whole big debate about that.
If
We're a
it's,
phone call away.
if it's black and yellow, it's
You gotta tell us who we're
Cautionary.
supposed to side with.
Always with me.
Okay.
She's like, the speed limit says, I'm like, that's not a speed limit. That's
it's gotta be a black and white sign for it to be regulatory.
Great. So what was the second part of this? So we know about the signage here. So what about the inside? Bruce, you were saying
I'd
add
say
something to the
if-
motion.
If you guys are okay with it, you could send it on to council and we just schedule it, maybe not at the 27th, but the next council meeting, and then just make public notice and maybe send a letter to the same group
Just regarding everything discussed.
regarding the no
Yeah.
parking zone.
Just easy.
So we can add to this council's agenda to set up the public hearing for the next one. Because we've got an agenda meeting tomorrow, so we usually set the,
Right, it wouldn't be at the 27th.
No one
right,
goes
but
to
we
those
put on the
neighborhoods.
27th
That's not
agenda
gonna be
declaring.
approved.
Oh, okay.
the public hearing for
I see what you're
the
saying.
following council meeting, so
You
that-
want us to knock on some doors?
There you go.
We can go.
I don't anticipate it being a problem either. That's why I think
Yeah.
what we're discussing is it bypassing committee and going straight instead of waiting for the
So
3 months.
We're trying to speed it up.
Yeah.
Sure,
Speed it
that's
up,
great.
yeah.
How about that, Governor?
I know,
Right?
wow.
We're doing this
Every now and
Yeah,
then.
here we
Slow
do.
down
We like to get things done.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion, and bear with me, Elaine, that this committee recommends the city council traffic calming and signage regarding issues at Lexington Boulevard and Bueller Drive as discussed at the February 20th, 2017 Park and Safety Committee meeting.
Do you want to add the additional parking?
I'm sorry, yeah, including possibly of adding additional no parking in that area as recommended by staff.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
There you go.
Okay, so we'll,
Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks
Yeah,
for having
thank
us.
you, guys.
thank you very much.
Elaine, did you get Linda's name too?
I did.
Make her official.
You know, we get a lot of neighborhood issues over speed, but this is probably one of the worst ones that I've
Yeah,
heard about. I mean, this is,
yes, well documented.
yeah, well documented.
That's more funny when you watch us run down the road yelling.
I'm with you.
Don't let it be you.
I'm with you. I'm always yelling.
Let the police know.
I'm always yelling.
We don't have
Thank you
quotas.
very much.
It's a bad word. I'll pass that on.
All right, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Item number 7, staff comments.
I think Matt kind of filled you in on the traffic calming manual and
When's that coming out?
crosswalk.
When's that?
Before your next meeting, and we're gonna, yeah, we want to give it to you so you have time to read it before the meeting too. Not the night before,
Our next committee meeting or next council meeting?
next committee meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, it's out for staff comments. Once we get that back and we get revisions made, we'll have it out to you guys.
Great.
There's a traffic calming manual and there's also a crosswalk installation guide.
And that will cover when to stripe crosswalks, when to add signs, guidelines on when to put up RFBs, also when to put up hawk signals, which hawk signals are actually like traffic signals for crosswalks that actually require people to stop. So it kind of gives all those guidelines and recommendations of when those need to be installed, so.
The targeted audience is a little different. That's why we separated them. Traffic calming manual is for everybody. The crosswalk installation guide is a little bit more technical. It gets down in the weeds a little bit more. The specifics, angles of hatching and
I'll rely on your advice for that.
that's all I have.
Speed radar.
You heard our
Yes,
crosswalk
sir.
update at the council meeting, so at the joint council school board meeting. So that's actually a meeting with Andy Brenner Wednesday. So we're moving ahead.
We mentioned the speed feedback signs are in. We have like 5 candidate locations: West Hall, Hawthorne, Cheshire Crossing, Bueller, at the top of our list. So I think the first Cheshire Crossing might be the first because they were kind of the first to really give us a first to request something like that. So Hall Drive is probably second, and then maybe Bueller will be ready to deploy on Bueller after that. They will be a hot item though, I predict.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, that'll give us some time then really to evaluate this.
Right. We can always budget, ask for another pair. next
Yeah, I
year.
can see we're having more and more parents be out there because we've got other places that we'd like to try.
Absolutely. And then I know you didn't have on your list, I just wanted to update everybody that we've been working with the schools, and I know there's been a joint meeting that we're submitting some applications with the Safe Routes to School, along with some safety applications for some different areas, so hopefully we'll get some additional funding.
Yeah, fairly significant amount of funding.
Good.
We're hoping, our commitment would be, if we're awarded, we might be committed to doing the design in-house.
Yeah, the Safe Routes to School was a 20% match, but the way we would do it is you do in-house design and do all the legwork from that end, and that covers the cost, and then all the materials and the contractor construction will be covered by them, so.
And that would cover, like RFBs.
The school zone flashers is
School zone
another big
flashers.
one, to get the rear-facing flasher on those units.
Yeah.
And then also, I know, George, you've been interested in, if we get all of our school clocks updated and get a program that we can have complex programming, so the school flashers are only on during the times they need to be on, so it can have the school schedules in there, delays, cancellations. We can do that all from our office and get that all updated.
Nice.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You gotta have the communication, you gotta have the module.
Yeah.
In upgraded. It's a retro.
It's retrofit. We are proposing a couple new flashers at a few locations because they are outdated and need replaced, but majority of them are retrofits, so it's kind of one of those plug and play things. Once we get the right equipment there, we can communicate with them and do a lot more with them, so.
Good deal.
Chief, anything else from you?
Nothing here.
Committee comments?
I would just real quick, when I didn't think I was going to be at this meeting, I forwarded an email from Julie Weller onto the committee that, and since I didn't think I was going to be here, I put it in my to read later file. So I didn't, are we anywhere with that? Did anybody remember that at all?
Which,
I remember that. I was there for it.
Okay, I didn't know
Getting
that-
it and looking at it. I think I even asked you something about it, didn't I, Chief?
remind me where that was? 'cause
Location, yeah.
What was it?
You remember the location?
No.
Let me see if I can.
We seem to be location
Yeah,
oriented.
I might be able to find the email.
I can- I know what you're talking about, and I have an answer for it if I could remember what it was.
Apologize. I just.
How long ago was that?
It was just a couple weeks ago. She's in my ward. I just want to make sure I followed up with her.
Is that Leonard Chase?
No.
Oh, I remember this. I remember this now.
It was, yeah, that's Chris Jones. The email itself to open up there for some reason.
I'm having,
Yeah, it's not opening up, but, because I remember saying something to the
yes,
chief and just
okay.
been meaning to get with Bill on that.
I sent
Yeah.
the picture out. That's actually a very well-signed neighborhood. So
yeah,
if
okay.
you remember,
So,
there, I mean, when you drive down that street, it's every third house, there is a no parking sign. One house north of her house, there's a no parking sign. It's just,
what was the street again?
it was Stanhope.
Stanhope. Okay.
So yeah, we did look into that. I just think that street is probably as well marked.
Was there any reply to her at all from staff at all, or I can get back to her?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right, that's all I was trying to get to. I apologize for putting it in the spot there. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
George?
I have nothing.
Nor do I. We have a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
and we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Them apples. Sweet.
And that's how I mean.
Those beat the 10-minute one.
No.
That's gonna be a hard one to